What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of High Above Courtside. I'm your host, Big Tony, and that is everybody's favorite, Stephen Cruz. Steve, what's going on?
How we doing? You know what? What's going on is the Celtics just had one of the best title defense seasons in a very long time, since probably the Warriors when they won 72 games or whatever it was. They had 73 games.
All right.
So
61
that's just great.
wins. 61
Back-to-back
wins
60
after a
game.
title season. I mean, that's unbelievable. You got to give him credit for that.
You have to. And, kudos to Joe for playing this the way he did, too. A lot of injuries, a lot of old man rest days, and just perfectly playing it. We'll get into Jaylen and his knee, but so far, I really like Joe's approach this season.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it. We got a Hawks versus the Orlando Magic Tuesday night in Orlando to see who comes to Boston in round one. Who do you like in that matchup and why?
Who I want to play?
Let me see here who you think is going to win that game, and then we'll get into who you'd rather face as a Celtics fan.
I think Hawks win that game, and I would rather play the Orlando Magic. Hawks only because they got stud wing defender. They have guys that get hot from the field. They have the maestro playing point. At least he get people open. Sometimes he's hot or cold. And then Orlando, they're stout on defense for sure. We saw that against the Hospital Celtics recently. Paolo and France, they're getting a little. They have the ability to get hot by using their body and going downhill. That would be kind of tough for us, but I don't think they have enough firepower to keep up with us. So I'd rather play the Magic, but I think Atlanta's going to be the one coming out of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Atlanta. I think it's going to be a close game Tuesday, but if I had to pick, if I was a betting man, I'm betting on Trae Young in Atlanta. And again, I mean, neither, I think, give the Celtics too hard of an issue in the first round.
Yeah.
But I'm a Trae Young respecter. I respect Ice Trae. We saw what he did to us a couple of years ago in the playoffs, stealing, basically on his own 2 games from the Celtics. And, like a Trae Young-led offense, no matter who else is out there with him, is going to score points and is going to be tough to stop.
For sure.
He's dynamic. He'll get you 30 and 10 every night of a series, and that's tough to deal with. And I've always felt like the Celtics, as great as they are defensively, those shifty point guards are always the guys that give them a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
And like Dyson Daniels, like you said, the great barrier thief. Maybe
one of the best nicknames out there.
I mean, well, yeah, the best nickname in the league, I think. And, he's a great defender, great individual defender. The Hawks otherwise don't have many great defenders, but he's still a guy that can get up in Tatum's handle and give guys some issues. And they're just a better shooting team than the Magic. So I feel like the only way you take the Celtics to 6-7 games is if you can shoot threes with them. And the Hawks have some guys that can do that. Trae, the rookie, Risa Shea, who I like.
Oh, yeah. I like him a lot, too.
He's athletic. Onyeka Okongwu has always kind of given us problems on the board. He's an active big. So, I think the Hawks can steal a game from the Celtics. Now, Orlando, that's who I'd like to see. I don't think Orlando wins a game against us. And I respect, Paolo and Franz, good players. I think Jalen Suggs being out hurts them big time. They just don't have enough backcourt depth to. I mean, it's like Cole Anthony and Anthony Black. Like, that's basically it. And, like, Franz Wagner playing point guard for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw the other night when they played the Hospital Celtics. They shot the ball well, which they usually don't do, and they scored 96 points.
They couldn't break 100 against
G League team, essentially. Yeah. Like, that's troublesome if you're a Magic fan.
For sure.
So, I guess I'm rooting for the Magic tomorrow night, but if I had to bet, I think Atlanta takes that game.
Yeah, I mean, also, I really like the double big lineup all year so far, and it's going to be great to have the double big lineup against Orlando. They have, let me see, They average 11.2 3-pointers made. They attempt 35.3 for the season. They hit it at a 31.8% clip. So you could really pack the paint, even though they do kind of have high free throws, 17.9 that made, 23 attempted. I think you could deter them at the rim with big
Right.
Luke in Porzingis or Luka now, and that will help us. The thing, like you said, shifty gods might be tough for us is Trey and Luke in a drop. So got to see how that plays out. So I'd really want to see Orlando because I think Luke's been playing amazing and he deserves minutes. And I think in every round because there's a possibility that you could have double bigs out there and it's not a deterrent to our defense or offense.
No, not at all. I think Luke's going to play in the playoffs. And yeah, I agree. You can help so much off Orlando shooters that what they like to do and score in the paint and get to the foul line. It's just like you're not respecting like 3 out of the 5 guys at any given time on the court when Orlando plays. Even Paolo, who's just him and Franz, who are the best players, aren't shooters. They want to get in the paint. They want to beat you off the dribble and get to the line. So, right, I mean, with the 3 bigs all healthy, especially, I don't see how Orlando, outside of the Celtics just having a miserable shooting game, wins any games in a series against us.
Yeah, and like I said, Atlanta could get hot, and that's how they could steal a game or two. Hopefully, just one, but that's how it happens. But the only thing is, they don't have Bogdanovich, so remember he would just go crazy.
He's a dog in the playoffs. He's a dog in the playoffs. He crushed us years ago. And they have some guys like Georges Niang plays a lot for them now, and Georges Niang, fine player. He's just he's a minivan. Like he cannot guard anybody else.
He's food.
Like him and Trey being on the court at the same time, although they can knock down some threes and score some points, that's a bucket every time.
Easily, yeah.
So
it's what it is. You want tough defense, shitty offense, or high-powered offense, shit defense. Either way, I think it shouldn't go more than 5.
Right, I agree with you. Let's get into the Jaylen injury. What are your feelings on the Jaylen injury overall? And did he try to play through something he shouldn't have?
Yeah, so I'm going to throw on my green colored glasses because I am a homer through and through.
Yep.
I think Jaylen hurt his fucking knee, right? And it's a bone bruise. You got to figure out what you can play pain tolerance wise, ability wise. And he even mentioned he was looking at Paul Pierce's old film to have that old man YMCA game. So that's what he was doing. They got a good look at him. They had a good amount of film on him. He had a couple efficient games there, that 30-point game in there. Then that next game kind of looked ass. So his minute restriction was like 28 minutes, something like that, and it slowly went down. And I don't think it's that big of an issue as everyone else making it to be. I don't give a shit if he cared about the 65-game rule or not. He needs to figure out what that knee can and can't do. And I'd rather know now in the games that don't fucking matter than coming up in the playoffs and be like, oh shit, Jaylen might be only 50% versus okay, we know Jaylen's 70 and we have to put him in these specific spots for him to succeed at his highest level because he's not going to be able to play 40 fucking minutes on this knee. So we got to figure out what's the most efficient and successful way to put him in position to propel our team to run through these playoffs again.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with most of that. I mean, I'm not ever going to try to just come out and say a guy is only playing he's already got his money.
Yeah, his contract has no stipulations for that. He's
Right.
on a stranded max contract. There is no bonuses. There's nothing else. It does not matter. Right.
So if your theory is that he just wanted to, the name recognition of, I was an All-NBA guy, fine. But he's been nothing but a win first, team first type guy his entire career. I mean, I can think back to year 2 and year 3 when Kyrie years when he was coming off the bench and it was never an issue.
Gordon Hayward above him did stuff like that. Yeah,
right, Gordon Hayward above him and being the third option. The Kemba years, he's never been a guy who's bitched and moaned about, hey, I was the third pick and I need this and I need that. He's fine being second fiddle to Tatum. Mm-hmm. So I'm just not gonna act like I'm living inside of him and I know what he's thinking. And I have too much respect for I know people like to bring up like, oh, the Celtics always hide injuries. Like, there's been regime changes since
Yeah.
Kemba and since IT and since Kyrie and all this stuff. I find it hard to believe that Brad Stevens, if he had a meniscus tear, first of all, as a guy who has a physical therapist wife and has picked her brain, Dr. Whitehill, Dr. Nine, actually now.
Nine.
I picked her brain enough to know a meniscus tear, you're not getting it's not really a pain management thing if you tear your meniscus. It's just a structural thing that your knee's going to be a bit weaker. Mm-hmm. The bone bruise is a pain management thing. So the whole thing about the PRP injections, that would tell me it is a bone bruise in the knee.
Yeah.
Because if he had a meniscus thing, when was this injury? Late February, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, like early March, late February, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
If he had a meniscus thing, that's a 4-week surgery, 4 to 6 week, get surgery and rehab and be back. They would have just had him get surgery. And they would have said, you'll be back for round 1, round 2 at the latest.
Yeah, like they had that with Rob too.
Right. We've gone through this with Rob. They did it with him. And like, it's not like we said, it's not like he's in a contract year and all this stuff. Brad Stevens is not mortgaging the next 5 years so he can play. And Jaylen Brown's not mortgaging the next 5 years of his career so he can get third team All-NBA in year 8. You know what I mean? They still have a 5-year, if not more, window with as long as Tatum and Brown are here and healthy. So like I refuse to believe Brad Stevens is going, yeah, dude, go out there, do whatever you want. You want to play against Charlotte in March, whatever, on a torn meniscus? Like, it's not happening. That's not what the injury is. So again, if it's a bone bruise, which it seems to be the case, then right, you're not gonna hurt it anymore. It's not like you can cut on that now you have no cartilage there or whatever, and your knees, you got a torn ACL now. It's just a deep bruise that's painful and annoying, and it's a little, you have a little less power jumping off on it and whatnot. So hopefully a pain injection does the trick, and it powers him through until he can really get off that thing over the summer. So, that's my thoughts on it. And
but the audacity for fans, pundits, and everybody in between to be like, oh, I know more than the medical staff for the Boston Celtics. I know more than these doctors. I know more than you fucking don't. Right. All right. You just have a narrative that you want to push because maybe you're anti Jaylen or you don't like the way the optics.
Looking at you, Bobby Manning.
John Sanders, fuck you. No, I was kidding. No, but like you don't really have to make it more than it is, because then once he didn't play, he didn't hit that 65 game mark, that all went aside. So just building up that narrative does nothing for the team whatsoever. It's all about his mental and physical tolerance for what he's going through and what he can do for the team. And Big Balls Brad is not going to let that jeopardize 16 wins for us.
Right. And right. I agree with everything you just said. It's just, this team's about 16 wins, and they weren't jeopardizing the 16 wins to get Jaylen on third team. And Jaylen was not doing that either.
No.
So I mean, and we're not sitting here trying to tell people it doesn't matter. Like, this,
it does matter, yeah. Like,
it matters. It sucks that he injured his knee late in the season.
But the narrative, I can't sit here with that.
Right. It's not good. It's not a positive. It's a negative. It stinks that this happened. But this is the NBA, and guys get hurt, and every team's dealing with injuries. So it is what it is. And like you said, you got to figure out how to play through it. And,
my biggest worry.
He has to know what he can do physically going into a series. And I think you'll see more of it in the first round of just like, okay, where do I have to be? What can I do?
Yeah.
So,
my biggest worry though is this kind of happened to Donovan Mitchell last year going into the playoffs. He had the same thing, injections, he had sore knee, and then all of a sudden he was lights out first round. He averaged like 30, something like that, but he kind of faded as the rest of the playoffs went. So I'm just really concerned about the longevity of his high level of play, Jaylen's. And then, I don't know, man. We talked about it last time, like a 70% Jaylen, a 60%, whatever that is. we're going to need him to win no matter who it is, because he just adds such a different dimension to this team. Now we have a deep team, and we've been playing a lot of double big, as I mentioned before, that can withstand some of these things. But Jaylen's a different animal. He's a Finals MVP, Eastern Conference MVP. He's a real deal. So, any slippage in that percentage from 100% is obviously going to be an issue.
Agreed. How far do you think they can go with a half-speed Jaylen Brown?
He's Cavs, Eastern Conference. Well, that's going to be a slugfest with no Jaylen.
Yeah. I would agree that's a 7-game series now, no problem without Jaylen. Mm-hmm. However, I do think that, barring any other injuries, a 100% healthy Kristaps Porzingis and Jason Tatum, who took another leap, and a Peyton Pritchard who took a step forward.
Luke Cornett, who took a large
step. I'm sorry. We can get into this. So I guess my thing is, I think they can beat Cleveland even without Jaylen being 100% healthy. I don't think they could beat OKC without Jaylen being healthy. But I think, and I'm not saying they would breeze through Cleveland. It would be a tough series. Maybe coin flip type series. But I think this team is better than the team that won the title last year, for a lot of different reasons. But some of what we've already said is Luke is unbelievable, way better than last year. Peyton, 6th man of the year, way better than what he was last year. Jason Tatum's taken another leap. We only lost 3 playoff games last year, and Kristaps Porzingis only played in 5. So if he plays in all of the playoff games, and the way he's shooting 44% from 3 and looking like healthy Kristaps that we knew all through the regular season last season. It's just, there's a lot of guys who can step up around Jaylen that can help, win some games where, maybe it's not 16-3 this year, but maybe it can be 16-9 and a title, which at the end of the day, who the hell cares?
I don't care how many, as long as we get 16.
Get 16 wins, man. That's it. That's all we need.
I've been hinting towards Cornette a lot during this. I got some stats for you if you don't mind. All right, some Cornette highlights for you. Tatum and Cornette on the floor have a 122 offensive rating and a 106.2 defensive rating, which would be best ratings in the league, both sides of that. Cornette has a 1.33 points per possession as a roll man, which is the 86th percentile. The guy just knows what to do when he sets that screen. Dive, vertical threat, awesome. Gets the ball, spray it out. He's unreal on that the roll there. He also has 11.4 screen assists per 36 minutes, which is 12th among players who've played minimum of 1,000 minutes, which is absolutely unreal. And Tatum's been talking about it. He had an interview with Scal talking about Luke's screens and how he sets them at different angles. It's just really great. And I also mentioned the pairing of double big lineups for Luke. So Tatum, Allen, Cornette on with Porzingis off has a 117.8 offensive rating and a 104.7 defensive rating. That's just really great. Quick shout out to Emil Jefferson for growing Luke's game. Luke referenced him for saying they've been working together. And I think it's, proven that Luke's a different guy this year. So that's why I'm really high on, what Luke brings. And Tatum used to have a great rapport with Rob Williams. Now, Luke's not jumping out of the gym like Rob, but he does a lot of the same things. So I'm just really excited for what he brings to this team. Like you said, everyone's leveling up, and hopefully that could help where we're missing Jaylen.
Yeah, and it just gives you more pairings to, more lineups to play with if Jaylen's limited, where you can now go to 3 bigs. You can go to a couple different versions of double bigs with, Tatum, Derek Drew, or Tatum, Derek Payton, or whatever it is. And most of those lineups are all net positives, if not big time net positives throughout the year this year. So
I got a question for you. So when we had Marcus Smart on the team, it was default to have Marcus in the crunch time minutes, and probably should have had Derek White there. Yeah. Do you think Joe will default to having Jaylen there in crunch time minutes instead of having, a different person in there?
That's a good question. I think he will, because I think Jaylen's earned it. So I think until Jaylen really loses a playoff game or something, because he's a complete liability out there, but he's so big and so strong, and so physical, that it's I don't know how he's going to be a, massive liability. Like, he can still body guys up defensively. He can still, in certain matchups, like if you get Atlanta or the Knicks in the second round, like Jalen Brunson's still on the court a lot, and he still can't guard Jaylen Brown even if he's 60%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he'll at least be given the leash up front to prove that he can close games.
No, I mean, I agree. I think Jaylen, specifically because it's matchup based, I don't think anyone's gonna give us too much stress for him to not close. But again, if he's dragging that leg up and down the court, I think Joe won't hesitate to pull him now that it's not his first year, where he's like, I think I got to play Marcus. He's the voice of this fucking team. So I think he's built off enough equity with the team to therefore make the decisions and not second guess them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lineup of Drew, Derek, Tatum, Al, Porzingis, it can be a pretty effective closing lineup anyway. I mean, Jalen's not a shooter as is, so you lose like that guy who can back down a mismatch and get to the paint. But I mean, it opens up other things. You can still run 5 out, and the way Porzingis is playing. So
one more question for you: biggest X factor besides Porzingis and Tatum on this team that will present themselves in the playoffs?
Oh, that's a good one. Jeez, there's a couple. I got a few in my head. I don't know which one I want to pick. How about Jason Tatum's 3-point shooting? Specifically.
Okay.
Because we know Tatum's going to be great. He's going to be unbelievable, and he's going to carry this team. They're going to go as far as Jason Tatum takes them. But if he's shooting the ball, if he has a good month shooting, I don't care who's out there for the Celtics. They're going to win the title. I don't care. If Jason Tatum shoots 40% from 3 for a month, they're winning the title or close to it. If he's up at 38.5%, because think of it, last year it was down.
Might go 16-3 again.
Right, it was down at like 31 throughout the playoffs last year, no? And I think in the finals he was at like 28.5. So they won in 5 games. Like they steamrolled everybody, and they didn't have Porzingis. So like if this dude's hitting pull-up threes and shooting at a good clip, which he's a streaky guy, it could easily happen, then I don't think it matters. And I think that they're going to roll at least through the East, and it would be tough for OKC or anyone in the West to beat him if he's shooting the ball well.
That's a great X factor, specifically because Tatum's had maybe his worst percentage-wise 3-point season. He finished the season sub 35%, so probably not the best there, especially every time, dude, we go into the fucking playoffs, this guy just slashes his fucking 3-point percentage. But it is what it is. What's mine?
No, one of these years he's
gonna one of these years, it's gonna
playoffs.
My X factor is Drew. Drew was close to being was it ECF MVP, Finals MVP? He had a vote at least.
Maybe both. Yeah, he was
in both.
Right.
The mallet finger seems to have straightened itself out. It probably still hurts. Yeah, he's shooting the ball really well. When he scores 14 or more points, we're unstoppable. So if he's just a little bit more engaged there, he's probably going to have a bigger role now that Jaylen may be hindered. Yeah. So I really think that Drew's going to be a bit. If he could stop the CTE step back threes, I would love that, dude.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. That's the only thing that really makes me frustrated with Drew's game, because everything else he does is top notch. I think he's 100% going to be a huge factor for us throughout these playoffs.
Agreed. And dealing with Brunson and the Cavs guards, like he's the guy. Like, and he's
so good. Guarding up.
Right. He's so good and he's so physical, and it's just so tough to play against him. And we know the physicality gets ramped up in the playoffs, and Drew's, he's proven it year after year. So yeah, I like that a lot. And then another one would be my man Sam Hauser. If Hauser, again, like Tatum, I guess I could throw in Porzingis' 3-point shot. If they all shoot the ball well, if Porzingis keeps shooting 44% from 3, forget about it. You can't guard the Celtics. If you have to give something up, and like that guy is he's a laser out there right now, and that's dangerous. I mean, even look at that Knicks game the other night. It was
glorious.
The Knicks outplayed us in every aspect of the game, except that
every category.
Except that we have a 7'3" freaking laser out there just chucking it from half court. It's like that's the reason we won that game. And there'll be some playoff games where you'll need just like, okay, like, who's hitting the big three late? So guys like Hauser, guys like Porzingis, Tatum, their three keeps going. Look out. Because I think Hauser might be a guy that, like you said, if we're talking about Jaylen being out, he might get more run. He's 6'8", like he's.
And now that his back isn't fucked, he's sliding his puppies more on defense. He's able to take that initial bump in playoffs. People love that first one, especially those Paulos, those Franz. Who else? The Great Barrier Thief. Like, they love to give you that first bump. You got to withstand that and then stay straight up and don't go over to get that stupid foul. He's been doing a lot better at that. What do we have for Porzingis from three this year? 40? Oh, in the last three, 48%. Overall, he had 41.2% for the season. Wow. That is such a weapon for us, especially against the Cavs, dude. You got to bring those big old guys out of the paint to let the other guys cook. They crack their guys off the dribble. They deck it. They go to the hole. There's no 7-footer there for them to compete with because they're covering the 7'3" guy 40 feet away. So
right. Yep. So what about let's get some predictions.
All right.
What are we predicting? Let's go through the East.
All right. I got
let's go through the already
established
that we already know. So
okay, so you want to start Pacers Bucks?
Knicks Pistons.
Oh, Knicks Pistons. I got Knicks coming out of that. I think it goes 6 games, but because it really depends on like how hot the Pistons get on their shooting, because they play great tenacious D. But I think the Knicks are just a better assembled team, especially with OG Anunoby playing of late. He could probably cancel out Cade, even though Cade's playing amazing out of his fucking mind. Brunson's unreal. I don't really think Cat will have a problem. He kind of unlocked a little something against the Celtics by that post-up game he was showcasing. Yeah. So I'll take Knicks in 6 in that one. What about you?
I'm going Knicks in 7, and I think the Knicks will win, but this is going to be a good series. The Pistons are good and they're tough, and they just don't give a damn. Like they don't know. It's like when you don't know, what you can be. It's just like we don't, they're playing with house money right now.
Isaiah Thomas, Eastern Conference Celtics.
Right, and exactly. And another big thing for me is Cat playing against Isaiah Stewart is not something I look forward to as a Knicks fan. Cat just is not a dog like that. And Isaiah Stewart, we know what this guy's about.
Yeah, but Mitchell Robinson is, though.
Mitchell Robinson is, but Mitchell Robinson, I don't know. I don't know how much he doesn't even play much.
He doesn't, but I think he has an element to that team that gives him the toughness.
A little bit of toughness. Yeah. I just think like Isaiah Stewart and the guys that Pistons have can get under Cat's skin, and if Cat's like off his game and playing bozo cat ball, like that's tough for the Knicks because they need 25 efficient points from him every night, and they need him to be locked. If he's turning it over and just being wild
and fouling, he probably fouling too much.
He unravels them, and it's tough. So I do like the Knicks overall. Brunson will hit some big shots late in that series and carry them through. Pistons, they're so young, they haven't done it before. So Bucks Pacers.
I got Pacers in 7.
Ooh,
I will respect the Pacers for the rest of my life for that absolute heroic sweep that they had against us. I think Nemhard
what's the status on Dame?
I don't care. It does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does not matter. No, it probably does, right? Because if Dame does it, then you could at least get 20 from him. He probably gives you 6 minimum assists depending on how he plays. I just think they could attack him, especially if he isn't in game shape. Giannis is going to give you 32, 12, and 7. It just is what it is. But can you stop those other guys? And I think you can. I don't think I just don't know if Bobby Porter's
Kevin Porter Jr.
Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing good for them, actually, which is kind of crazy.
Pat Connaughton had 48 points yesterday.
Yeah, game 82 though.
Yeah, but the season, but still.
But I think I really like the Pacers. I think they know their identity. They play to their strengths, and Giannis plays 150% every second he's out there. It's hard to play at that pace for that long, that hot. It's just tough.
Right.
Plus
I'm gonna go Bucks in 7. I just can't healthy Giannis. I just can't see them losing in the first round 3 years in a row. So that's the
Why?
I respect the Pacers, and I almost wanted to pick them to go to the conference finals, but I just can't. I think Giannis is gonna win a series this year.
I'm a little disrespecter of Giannis though too, because he does those stupid ass shenanigans, and I don't really respect that.
I
Fucking
thought the
big
Malik
guy,
Beasley was
nice guy.
The Malik Beasley thing was hilarious. I hate his antics too, but would he you see that the other day?
Yeah, but he don't do it to anyone else. Like
It was
that's
so
gonna
funny
step to
though,
him,
dude.
you
He
know?
kept going after him and shaking him in his face. And Malik
Yeah,
Beasley
like if
doesn't
that
care
happened to me on
anymore.
the court, like I tell him to fuck himself.
It was so
I'd get that
funny,
stupid
dude.
fucking finger out of my face, you shitty ass fucking dad jokes. I'll,
Yeah,
I'll knock
yeah,
you out right here.
it is funny. So I'm taking Bucks. I like the Celtics in 5 versus whoever they play in the first round. I'll give a team a win, either Orlando
Yeah.
or Atlanta, whatever. They might win a game that happens in the playoffs. And I like the Cavs in 5 versus whoever they're playing.
I think it's Bulls.
I think it'll be the Bulls too. And I think the Bulls sneaky. They shoot the 3 well, so
They
could
do.
win a game or
They
two.
have an identity as well. They
Yeah.
play right into. They don't
Right,
they don't play around. They know what they're good at, and they stick to that.
right.
I mean,
What
they
about-
are the 9th seed, so but
Yeah.
the
What about the West? We got
West.
4-5, Denver, LA, Clippers.
I like Clippers in that one in 7.
I like Clippers in 7 as well. Kawhi's back. The Clippers they're fucking
Yo,
deep. Dude.
I've never seen like obviously we've seen peak Kawhi, like he's one of the greatest players I think I've ever seen in person at peak Kawhi. But what he's been doing to these bigger like guys like the Dorts and everyone, he's just dislodging them. Draymond on him, Jimmy Butler on him. It doesn't matter, dude. He's just a machine. He just gets to his spot, puts it in like he's unreal.
He's
James Harden's playing amazing. And Zubac, we've been pro podcast for Zubac all year.
Yeah.
He is like a top center in the league.
Right.
He's like top 5. He does everything great.
Right. Defensive Player of the Year candidate too, which I didn't realize until yesterday. But yeah, I like the Clippers in that series. Too much going on in Denver. Jokic, we respect. He's gonna make it a tough series, but the Clippers are just too deep. They have too much, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, Norman Powell, dude. Just so many people over there. And I just don't really trust Murray. Like, I don't know what version we're going to get of him. I don't trust Russell Westbrook in the clutch if he has to be out there. Christian Brown has been playing fine. I don't trust Peyton Watson's offense. He's a great defender. He's got great length. But there's just – and Aaron Gordon is, he's solid. Him and Jokic are great together. But I just think, like you said, the Clippers are too deep.
Lakers – Minnesota.
Wolves. Yeah, I got Lakers in that one in 6. I think Lakers are serious right now. They're 3-prong approach between Reeves, Luka, and LeBron. LeBron has, when he wants to turn it on, he's unreal on defense. He's still looking at the rim when he's up, going down. It was just his shooting so much better. I think JJ Redick has a great scheme on how to play defense with 2, not that great defenders between Luka and Reeves. I think they prefer to play small. I think Luka relishes playing Gobert. So we'll see. But I like Lakers in 6 in that one.
I like Lakers in 6 too. And I think Luka, he feasts on Rudy a lot. And LeBron feasts on Rudy. The only thing that I could see giving the Lakers problems is Julius Randle, because the Lakers, like we said, they're not big, they don't have good interior defenders, and Julius Randle could give them some problems. And Anthony Edwards, he's been playing great. So
yeah, but the thing is, like, if you turn Anthony Edwards into a 20 field goal attempts and up player, I don't think that's a winning formula. Julius Randle is gonna have to be matched like with Rui Hachimura, right? And that's a pretty big body. That's a 6'10" solid guy. He's been playing great as of late. Yeah. Who else over there? DiVincenzo, if he gets hot, that could be great. Nas Reed.
But yeah, they don't have quite enough Minnesota, I don't think.
Not enough. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like so close, but it's just so at the top level on
Luka and LeBron, are gonna hit big shots and they're gonna score.
If it's 107, I think Luka and LeBron are gonna come out of that one.
Right. And then so what about the Rockets? We believe in the Rockets against Steph or the Grizzlies? I'd like them over the Grizzlies.
I think it's 7 games. Pick them with the Warriors. I think it's 5 against the Grizzlies.
And I
think that too. But
what Amin Thompson did to Steph the other night? 3 points. Like,
Yeah.
they're the best offensive rebounding team in the league. Warriors are small. They would give the Warriors trouble. I'd still pick the Warriors in 7 in that series, but they would give the Warriors trouble.
I just think that then, because Jimmy just plays like kind of possum and paces himself all season. So like when it like, and I'm not like a big playoff Jimmy guy, but like when it comes to it, he's not gonna fucking shoot 7 times a game. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna actually go
losing player.
loser player.
Jimmy Butler.
But
I want to congratulate him on being in the playing game again. It's they should rename it after him actually, because it's his tournament. It's a little Jimmy Butler Invitational.
It's either him or the Valanciunas tournament, because Valanciunas has the most points in play-in history.
Does he? That's a good stat. Wow, unbelievable.
He's been in every single year, but I still think Tatum has the highest points in.
Yeah, he has that 55 50, or whatever.
Yes, 50 something plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's, what did I say? Pick them for Warriors and 5 if it's the Grizzlies.
Yeah, agreed. And I think OKC beats whoever. I think the Warriors would.
I think they sweep them. I think OKC
Warriors?
sweeps whoever. No, I think OKC sweeps whatever the 8 seed is.
They're not going to sweep Steph Curry. No way. The Warriors. I respect the Warriors, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Warriors.
This team is. I
get it, but it's
Shea is going to be the MVP. He's the leading scorer.
I don't know. I'm not.
Their defense is unreal.
I think OKC has not beaten anybody in the playoffs except for the Zion-less Pelicans. So I like them. I think they're coming out of the West, and I think they would blow through the Grizzlies. But I'm giving Steph 2 games in that series. So I'm rooting for as Celtics.
I'll give him one. Pods is gonna be killing them. No, he's getting shut out. Like, just go down the list of who they have. I just think OKC.
They still have tough players. Jimmy Butler, as much as I crap on him, I mean, he's still tough to deal with. And Draymond's Draymond.
Yeah.
And Steph is Steph. So,
I just would like to see the bullying that the Warriors are going to try to do to OKC if they play them. And I just don't think they'll back down this year. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're stout. I think they're playing with like, we got the big swing and hammer in this one. All right.
Yeah. Should be interesting. Should be a. I'm ready for a couple months of.
When it all said and done, who do you think is going to come out of the West?
Oof. I mean, I think I'm going to go. It's going to be Thunder Celtics finals. That's my pick. I think that's a lot.
Who do you think the Thunder faces in the Western Conference Finals?
So if the Lakers are the 3 seed, Houston's 2. I think the Thunder are going to have problems with the Clippers in the second round too. If the Clippers get out,
I think that might be a tough one for them.
But I guess I'm going to go with Lakers Thunder.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly what I thought. I think it's going to go 7 there as well. I just think that the Lakers can really pick at some of the weaknesses, especially the shooting. When OKC goes in some droughts there, they could really run it up. And Luka fucking loves playing them, dude.
Yeah.
Luka dragged the Mavs all the way to the finals. I really think the Lakers are playing so good right now.
I would love a Celtics Lakers finals.
Yes, it'd be amazing. And hopefully Jalen's knee's good, because I'd like to see Jaylen punk Luka again.
It would be awesome. It would be great. So I guess that'll do it for us, unless you got anything to add. No, just one of the greatest defense titles regular seasons we've seen since the Warriors. Let's go through that real quick, because I have it here. 24 Nuggets, 57 wins. 23 Warriors, 44 wins. This is the season after they won the title. 22 Bucks, 51 wins. 21 Lakers, 42. 20 Raptors, 53 wins. 19 Warriors, 57 wins. 18 Warriors, 58 wins. 17 Cavs, 51 wins. 16 Warriors, 73. 15 Spurs, 55. 14 Heat, 54. 61, coming off a 64. Right. Back to back. Let's go. And if the Celtics get another one this year, Tatum gets 2 in a row, and Larry Bird never did that. So conversations start after that. So we'll keep that for the off season. But yeah, we're gonna have some comfortable conversations. Yeah, buddy. All right, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us we suck or tell us we're great. I don't know, whatever you want. And tune in next week. We'll probably have a game one recap. For sure. All right. Later. Deuces.